During the time of monarchy, the king or the queen had the supreme power of that particular kingdom. So, the future of the people was totally dependent upon the decisions taken by the king or queen. If the king is very concerned about his subjects, then the people have a very good time, and if not, then the people are in total misery. So, during the time of the French Revolution, the concept of equality for all citizens was put forward for the first time in the history. And based on that concept, countries started preparing constitution. And the first country to have a written constitution in the history was the United States of America in September 17 in the year 1787. So, like most countries, India, after the independence from the British colonial rule, also wrote a constitution for all the citizens of India. So in this first chapter in civics, we will learn more about the constitution in India. So first, what is a constitution? A constitution is a document. So the first explanation is that a constitution is a document. It is a written or a recorded matter where details about how to govern a country. So the document gives the details about how to govern a country have been clearly stated. It also contains rules and regulations, and it also defines the powers and functions of the government. A constitution provides procedures and rules so that all the people of our country can live together peacefully. So you know that India is a diverse country with so many cultures, so many languages, so many customs, so many religions. So it is difficult, practically it is impossible to have a peaceful atmosphere where there are so many differences. So with the concept that all people of this country should live together peacefully, a constitution with procedures and rules is being developed or formed. So this constitution binds or keep all the Indians as one. So some information about the origin of the word constitution is given. It is derived from the French word and also from the Latin word, and it means the act of settling or settled condition, anything arranged or settled upon regulation, order or ordinance. So in a word you can say constitution gives an order to the government. Now about the history of the framing of the Indian constitution. So we all know that India was colonized by the British Empire for nearly 200 years. During this time of colonization, the British made all the laws. They also introduced Western education in our country, and the introduction of this Western education made all the Indians aware of our rights. Now the British colonialism also introduced infrastructure like a network of railways, roads and telegraph lines, and this made all the Indians closer to each other, and this awakened the spirit of nationalism in the citizens. And ultimately, this resulted in the British leaving the country. Now, in 1885, INC was formed. The Indian National Congress was formed, and it had representatives from all communities and sections of the society. So the INC took much care in the participation of all the people in the country. It was very much strict that no one should be left out. So this Congress represented all communities and sections of the society, and they struggled much hard to achieve India's independence from the British rule, and they demanded Indian participation in the government, which was unheeded by the British government. So they were not ready to participate Indian representatives in the government. Now, because of the end of the Second World War in August 1945, the British rule was weakened, and within 2 years, the British were preparing to leave India. During that time, they sent a group of officials referred to as the Cabinet Mission, and their purpose was the preparation of a constitution for India. So before the British left India, they sent a group of officials known as the Cabinet Mission with the purpose of preparation of constitution for India. Now, according to this Cabinet Mission, a Constituent Assembly was formed in 1946. And the first session of the Constituent Assembly was held in December. By March 1947, the political developments were such that partition of India could not be prevented, and thus the partition happened. So even though the country tried to stop the partition, it was in vain. They were not able to stop the partition, and the partition became a reality. And also about Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru supporting for the constitution, for the formation of constitution, and also for a Constituent Assembly for the preparation of constitution as early as 1938. So he said, the National Congress stands for independence and a democratic state. It has proposed that the Constitution of Free India must be framed without outside interference by a Constituent Assembly elected on the basis of adult franchise. Now, about the formation of the Constituent Assembly in preparation for the making of a constitution for India. Usually in a democratic country, any community or the members or the leaders of any community was elected by people. But in this case, the Constituent Assembly was not elected directly by the people, but the Constituent Assembly was elected by the provincial legislative assemblies. So the Constituent Assembly was elected by the provincial legislative assemblies. Now the Congress took much care the representation of different political parties, communities and regions. There were members from the scheduled castes too. The most prominent members were Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Sardar Patel, Maulana Azad, S.P. Mukherjee, K.M. Munshi, Satyaj Bahadur Sapru, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, A.K. Iyer, H.N. Kunzru, and you can see the pictures of the members of the Constituent Assembly. And also the members of the Constituent Assembly were C. Rajagopalachari, Sarojini Naidu, Vijayalakshmi Pandit. So the only two women members were Sarojini Naidu and Vijayalakshmi Pandit, rest all were men. Now the Anglo-Indians this is a mixed group of English and Indians, were represented by Frank Anthony, and the Indian Christians were represented by Dr. H.C. Mukherjee, and the Parsis were represented by Sir H.P. Modi. So they were representatives from almost all the sections or almost all the communities from India. Now about the drafting of the constitution. The drafting committee consisted of 8 members, and the chairman was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So the drafting committee had 8 members and the chairman was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Now, in order to draft our constitution, what the committee did was, the committee studied the constitution of several countries including the USA, Britain, former USSR, France and Ireland. And the good features from these constitutions were included in the Indian constitution. Also, the draft was prepared and published in all the leading newspapers of the country so that the people can review it and give their opinion too. So the draft of the constitution was discussed at great length and hundreds of people and the press attended those sessions. So all the opinions of different kinds of people were taken as very valid and as very valuable. All these opinions, suggestions were also discussed, studied and included in the constitution, along studying the constitution of other countries. Now, the implement of constitution. On November 26, 1949, the constitution was finally approved by the members of the Constituent Assembly and was also signed. So it was finally approved by the members and it was signed on November 26, 1949. So the last draft of constitution was prepared and it was decided. Now, it took 3 years. So it took almost 3 years to prepare the constitution. Now it came into force on January 26, 1950, and C. Rajagopalachari took over from Lord Mountbatten, and C. Rajagopalachari became the first Indian Governor General of India, and he held this office till January 26, 1950. And it was also the day our constitution came into effect. So the constitution came into effect on January 26, 1950, and thus India became a republic and Dr. Rajendra Prasad became the first president of the country. Now, the constitution as a document was almost ready in November 1949. But our leaders decided to wait till 26 January of the next year, that is in 1950, to formally adopt the constitution. So it was already ready by November 1949, but it was decided, it was formally adopt the constitution on 26 January 1950. Even after achieving independence, a large section of the population lived below the poverty line, and they also faced so many social and economic obstacles or economic problems. So, one of the ideas of the constitution was to tackle or solve or handle all these problems in due course. So we cannot find an immediate solution, but by the passage of time we can solve the problems. So the main idea of the constitution was to solve or to handle all the social, economic and the problem of poverty, and thus to make India a successful democracy by providing equality and justice to all the people. So main objective of the constitution is to provide equality and justice to all people. So the preamble to our constitution summarizes its ideas and objectives, or its aim or its goals. The first line of the preamble, so the preamble is given. So the preamble starts, "We, the people of India, have solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation, or the togetherness of the nation, in our Constituent Assembly. This 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution." So this is our preamble. So it starts with the sentence, "We, the people of India," and it ends with the line, "Adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution." So the Constitution is given to ourselves, or the Constitution is given to people, and these people include even Prime Minister, President, and all citizens in the country. So there is no difference between any two individuals. So this clearly suggests that the power lies in the hands of the people. So the supreme power belongs to the people, not with any king or queen. So in this democratic society, the citizen has more important role, unlike a monarchy ruled by kings or queens. So it was on behalf of the people of India that members of the Constituent Assembly framed the Constitution. So this preamble is the most precious part of the Constitution. It is the soul of the Constitution. It is a key to the Constitution. It is a jewel set in the Constitution. So preamble is very important part of our Constitution. So words, India is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, express the nature and goals of the Constitution. So we will discuss about these words, or the importance of this in our Constitution. So this is the original preamble of the Indian Constitution. Now sovereign. Sovereign means, the preamble states that India is a sovereign state. It means that it is free to take its own decisions, both in internal and external matters. So in the matters inside the country and about the external matters also can be freely taken without the interference of any individual or any power outside our country. So it is an independent country. It has the freedom to take its own decisions in all matters. No country or individual can interfere in its internal affairs. It is free to take its own stand on world matters, unlike the time when it was under British rule. So the supreme power lies with the citizens of India, and no one is allowed to interfere in the matters of our country. So this idea was stated in the term sovereign. So India is a sovereign country. India is an independent country. No one from outside the country has the right to take decisions regarding the matters of India. Now, socialist. India is a socialist country. So the word socialist was added to the preamble by the 42nd Amendment Act in 1976. So according to this, the aim of the government was to establish a society based on social and economic equality. The term socialism means equality, social and economic equality. So there should not be any difference on the basis of societal matters or on the basis of economic matters. So to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. So in order to solve the gap, so in order to reduce the gap between the rich and the poor, there should be social and economic equality, and this idea was included in the term socialist. and it also has a purpose to raise the standard of living, particularly of the weaker sections of society. So there should not be any difference between the rich class and the poor class. This idea was included in the term socialist. Now secular. The word secular was also added to the preamble by the same Amendment Act. It implies that there is no official or state religion in India. So India doesn't have an official or a state religion. It is a secular, means nothing is based on any religion. The government will not discriminate against any citizen on grounds of religion. So the government cannot differentiate people based on any religion. People of all religions are equal in the eyes of law. So there shouldn't be any differentiation, or there shouldn't be any partiality based on the religion of an individual or the religion of a citizen. Religion does not concern in the matter of Indian constitution or in the matter of anything that is taken in India. So it doesn't have any value. People are free to adopt their religion, but it is not a matter of concern for the state or for the country. Democratic. The word democratic implies that the supreme power lies in the hands of the people, unlike in a monarchy. The government is formed by the will or the wish of the people. So the government is formed according to the wish of the people. People elect their representatives who in turn form the government. Hence it is a government of the people, by the people and for the people. And the term Amendment Act is given an act which changes or edits the constitution, and discriminate means to differentiate or to make a distinction or to make a difference or to show any partiality. Now, republic. A republic is a state which has an elected head. So there is a head in a republic state, but that head was elected by the people. India became a republic in 1950. In India, the head of the state is a president who has a fixed term of 5 years. This post is not hereditary. We know that in monarchy, the power is hereditary. So once the father becomes the king, next his son or his daughter become the next supreme power. But in a democratic or in a republic state, this post is not held hereditary. So this state or this post was elected. Now about the ideals of the Constitution. The preamble further indicates or points out the high ideals set before the nation. So the ideals of the ideals set by the preamble before the nation were justice, liberty of freedom, equality and fraternity. Fraternity means a spirit of brotherhood or the spirit of togetherness.